The world is filled with lines, invisible boundaries drawn on maps that separate cultures, nations, and histories. Some borders are more than just lines, they're puzzles, stories, and spectacles all in one. From time-traveling islands to a zipline between two countries, here are 7 of the world's strangest borders. Let's begin. Number 7. Spain to Portugal Zipline, Limite Zero Zipline. Most international travelers opt for a plane, car, or boat. But how about a zipline? In the tiny village of Sanlúcar de Guadiana, Spain, you can zipline across the Guadiana River straight into Alcaudete, Portugal. This is Limite Zero, the world's only cross-border zipline. You start in Spain, get harnessed, and zoom across the river at about 50 kilometers per hour, 31 miles per hour. It's a quick ride, about 60 seconds, but you're not just crossing into a new country, you're also entering a new time zone. Portugal is 1 hour behind Spain, so technically, when you land, you've traveled back in time. British adventurer David Jarman created this project to connect 2 sleepy towns in a fun, imaginative way. Since its opening in 2013, it has symbolized adventure, friendship, and borderless travel. Where else can you say you traveled internationally, by zipline? Number 6. Kjarab Pass, China-Pakistan border. High in the Karakoram Mountains, where oxygen is thin and the air is crisp, lies one of the world's most dramatic and scenic borders, the Kjarab Pass. At over 15,000 feet, 4,600 meters, above sea level, it is the highest paved international border crossing in the world. Here, the border between Pakistan and China slices through icy peaks. One side is part of Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan, the other lies in the vast region of Xinjiang, China. A modern highway, part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, winds through glaciers, valleys, and snow-capped mountains, connecting the two nations. Despite its remote setting, the border gate symbolizes cooperation between the countries. Tourists often visit to take selfies beside the ornate gate, guarded by Chinese and Pakistani troops. However, don't be deceived by the majestic scenery. This is a serious crossing, complete with extensive security, passport control, and customs checks. Few borders, however, match this breathtaking grandeur. It's diplomacy with a view. Number 5. Pakistan-India, Waga border. Every evening, just before sunset, an unusual ceremony unfolds on the border between Pakistan and India. Welcome to the Waga border ceremony, also known as the beating retreat. It's part military ritual, part performance art, and part nationalistic theater. Border guards from both sides, India's border security force and Pakistan's rangers, engage in an elaborate display of synchronized marching, high kicks, salutes, and stare-downs. The atmosphere is electric, and crowds cheer as if it were a sports event. Flags are lowered, and gates are slammed. It's intense, theatrical, and oddly poetic. What began as a simple daily flag-lowering practice has transformed into a kind of cultural showdown. The ceremony occurs every day, drawing thousands of spectators. Despite the underlying tension, the ceremony is a shared tradition, proof that even the fiercest borders can embody a unique rhythm. Number 4. Playas de Tijuana, San Isidro port of entry. Here, the border isn't merely political, it's emotional. In Playas de Tijuana, Mexico, the boundary between the United States and Mexico ends at the Pacific Ocean. A tall steel fence extends into the waves, dividing the beach in two. On one side, San Diego, on the other, Tijuana. This area is known as Friendship Park. However, for many families, it represents separation. In the past, the park allowed people from both countries to meet at the border wall, touching fingertips through the fence or speaking closely through the mesh. For families separated by immigration laws or legal status, this was one of the few ways to see loved ones. But security has tightened over the years. Today, access is restricted, with surveillance drones overhead and armed guards patrolling both sides. Nevertheless, the site remains a powerful symbol of longing, love, and the complex relationship between the two nations. Few borders evoke such strong emotions. Number 3. Ukraine-Poland land art, Horodych-Włodawa border. On most borders, you'll find fences, guards, or surveillance towers. But on the border between Ukraine and Poland, there's something entirely different, a giant heart made of trees. Located near the towns of Horodych in Ukraine and Włodawa in Poland, this living artwork is visible only from the air. It's called the Green Heart of Europe, symbolizing unity. The heart is formed by a thin strip of bare land surrounded by dense forest, creating a perfect shape that crosses the national border, half in Ukraine and half in Poland. The origins of this design are debated. Some believe it was a deliberate act of land art, representing peace and friendship, while others suggest it may have been an unintentional consequence of forest management. Regardless, it offers a refreshing perspective on what borders can be, not dividers but symbols of connection. In a region with a complex history, that message is significant. Number 2. Belgium Netherlands Barl Hertog, Barl-Nassau border. Welcome to Barl, possibly the most confusing town on earth. This quirky community is split into two parts, Barl Hertog, which is Belgian, and Barl-Nassau, which is Dutch. But the twist, the border isn't a straight line, it's a chaotic mix of enclaves and counter-enclaves, with over 30 separate parcels of land, some just a few houses in size. You might live in Belgium, shop in the Netherlands, and dine in a cafe where the front door is Belgian and the kitchen is Dutch. To make matters even more perplexing, the border runs through buildings, sometimes directly through a person's living room. This means you could sleep with your head in Belgium and your feet in the Netherlands. Residents must follow different rules depending on which side of the border their front door is on. The nations have alleviated some confusion by marking borders with metal crosses on the ground, and house numbers are adorned with little Dutch or Belgian flags. Despite the madness, the people of Barl embrace their complex geography, and somehow, it works. Number 1. Dameid Islands International Date Line. Imagine standing on the edge of today and staring directly into tomorrow. This is exactly what happens between Big Dameid and Little Dameid, two tiny islands located in the middle of the Bering Strait between Russia and the United States. Although these islands are separated by only about 2.4 miles, they are worlds apart, literally. Big Dameid belongs to Russia, while Little Dameid belongs to the United States. However, Big Dameid is 21 hours ahead of Little Dameid, thanks to the international date line that runs between them. That's why locals sometimes refer to them as Tomorrow Island and Yesterday Island. Standing on Little Dameid, you can gaze across the icy waters and see the future, though you need special permission to visit either island. Big Dameid is a Russian military outpost, strictly off-limits to tourists, while Little Dameid is home to about 80 people, mostly native Alaskans. It's one of the few places on Earth where you can literally see a different day with just a glance. Borders are often perceived as places of tension, barriers that divide us. However, they sometimes surprise us, revealing stories of cooperation, creativity, and even humor. From towns split by kitchen tiles to invisible time-traveling islands and zipline adventures across nations. These borders remind us that geography isn't solely about maps. It's about the human experience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and click that bell for more strange and fascinating journeys around the world. Until next time, stay curious. Did you enjoy this video? Check out other clips of Amazing 7 and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified our latest videos.